Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans. And what we do around here, is bring about conversations of a psychological, mental health, emotional health paradigm. Do that as often as we can, usually several times per week. We make a commitment to do exactly that. And this is our Life Lesson Series number 253. If there are things that life is trying to teach you, but you're not necessarily sure what those lessons may be, then coaching can be super, super helpful. I help people set new habits. I help people work through all sorts of challenges. And I'm committed to doing exactly that. And so there's value in doing that, and there's connectivity in doing that as well. So hopefully we can do that. You can reach out at PO Perception on Twitter and or in the About Me section of this YouTube page. Either one will get you in touch with me or a member of the team in order to make things happen in a better way for your benefit. The first thing is investing in your hobbies, investing in the people in your life, investing in work-life balance, investing in everything you do. You have to realize everything you do has a cost, whether it's a financial cost, whether it's an emotional cost, whether it's a cost in energy, cost in time. Everything has a cost. So be very careful about that which you invest in, and be willing to also look at what you're dreaming about, both literally and figuratively. What are the things that in your non waking life are dominating your thoughts, your feelings, your emotional state? Because those are the things that really matter most to you, whether you necessarily realize it or not. When you are in a space where dreaming on a consistent level about the same things comes to be, it's because there's a part of your being, whether we call it the soul, the spirit, the essence of your being, your motivating factor, whatever terminology you feel comfortable in using, is driving you towards that thing or those things that have become dominant in your mindset. And when you begin to understand the value of looking at yourself from that perspective, you will then be able to kill the past. What that means is let go of any negative emotional connections you have with past life events or things that you've done or things that you think you should have done. Self blame and the negativity associated therewith ultimately leads you in directions that aren't going to be super beneficial anyway, and the realization that learning how to deal with your emotions is one of the most important things you can do at any given moment so that you can begin to grow and go in a positive direction is one of the most important things you can ever do. The next thing is don't take shortcuts. Obviously, there are a million shortcuts you can take. People will cut corners. People struggle with senses of entitlement and or things that they feel they deserve to have. But the problem is when one is willing to take shortcuts, they're also willing to sacrifice certain levels of integrity, certain levels of loyalty and or quality relationships on the basis of trying to get where they're trying to get to, whether that be financially, whether that be relationship status, whether that be in a direction of deeper way and kind of coming forward in a way that's super valuable. And when we begin to understand the necessity of doing that, when we begin to understand the manner at which doing that becomes important, it can often become overwhelming in a decent way. And making sure to be open to all experiences, and open doesn't mean in agreement with, and that's where things are difficult for many people. So many people get tied up in the emotion of I disagree, therefore I'm not open to something. But disagreement doesn't necessarily mean that you can't at least hear someone out if they have an idea different than your own or have a belief different than your own. So often we get tied up in the political, both literally political but emotionally political things. This is the way it should be, and I force my beliefs onto other people. And at the end of the day, we begin to, fight for things that will they matter in 10 minutes? Will they matter in 10 months? Will they matter in 10 years? Well, if they'll matter in 10 years, then it's probably worth worrying about. If it doesn't, not going to matter in 10 days or 10 minutes, then it's not worth worrying about. But people get themselves all tied up in emotional things that really have very little, if any, long term consequence, and then wonder why they don't have the energy to pursue the things that really matter to them in the long run. And so when we begin to understand the value of doing that, it's important to remain in balance in all ways as it relates to connecting in that way. So hopefully this is helpful. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.